नमस्कार साथियों, myself Vibha Jain from MJ School of Human Dynamics, and it's an immense pleasure to have you all with us, especially Dr. TV Rao. And to be very frank, it's an extraordinary feeling to be with all you guys. अभी पिछले सप्ताह मैंने विजिट किया है जो रूट्स हैं एचआर फर्टिनिटी के, और साइकोलॉजी और टीओटी को भारत में लाने के लिए जो समर्पित हैं उनको मैंने विजिट किया है। 2 साल से मैं एमजे के साथ ही हूँ, और पिछले सप्ताह हमने डॉक्टर विजय लक्ष्मी चौहान को विजिट किया। इन दोनों के विजिट से मुझे ये लगा, और जो मेरा खुद का पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस भी है, कि टीओटी तो होना ही चाहिए। एंड एट एमजे एसएचडी
हाँ मैं
we
भेज रहा
are
हूँ अभी।
coming back to the roots. MJ School of Human Dynamics बना है एक वर्चुअल टीओटी के थ्रू, and I am one of the participant of first ever virtual TOT which was conducted by MJ, and जो एसेंस है फॉर ऑफ सेंसिटिविटी ट्रेनिंग किस हद तक इंसानों की हर क्षेत्र में मदद कर सकती है, ये मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है। और हमारा लक्ष्य है कि हम एजुकेशन, सोशल, एनजीओज, इंडस्ट्रीज, जहाँ तक भी हो सके, जहाँ तक भी इसका एक्सटेंशन है, वहाँ तक हम सेंसिटिविटी ट्रेनिंग्स को पहुँचाएंगे। और इसमें आप सबका साथ साथ के प्रति हम आशान्वित हैं। नेक्स्ट आई एम गिविंग अप टू तुषारिका।
My pleasure, Vibha. Very good morning to all of you. I'm Tusharika, a very active human resource professional and a founder of Mahavir Jain School of Human Dynamics. As Vibha has mentioned, I'm here to add that Mahavir Jain School of Human Dynamics is all about a movement of awakening human potential and understanding human dynamics to its core, with the vision to discover and unleash the innate power. By keeping this in mind, today we all are gathered here with the presence of our respected TV Rao sir and Dr. Mahavir Jain to fill up the gaps in terms of knowledge, in terms of information, in terms of everything which we can bridge to our society by reaching in the social sector, industrial sector, school for deprived, and with the Skill India movement also. Our coordinator, Mrinan Kanti Barman sir, I'm giving the platform to him to proceed further, as TB Rao sir has also joined, and many of our members are waiting to hear from him. Barman sir.
Thank you, Tusharika. Suprabhat.
Where is TV?
TV Rao is there. He joined, but mute himself.
Participant list.
Right now, yes.
You can
Yes,
hear.
he unmuted.
Oh,
Dr.
Yeah,
Rao
yeah,
is
yeah.
unmuted.
Welcome. Yeah.
hello. Hi. Very nice. I am struggling with this. You see, I have not been using WebEx for a long time. So it has downloaded, but I don't know. I don't understand why it is. It's making all kinds of.
Welcome.
You are visible now. We can hear you also, sir. Great.
Okay, very good. Yeah. I think my background has just, I was trying to see if they can change this background. Okay, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay.
I will
Suprabhat,
join
good morning to our distinguished speakers today and the learner participant who are joining and have already joined in this webinar. My name is Mrinal Kanti Borman. I am a member of the MJ School of Human Dynamics. I have retired from a Maharatna company around 4 years back. I have dreamed of doing a PhD for a long time that I could remember. Irrespective of my passion towards it, I was unable to pursue the same during my active careers. However, as all of us are aware, it is better late than never. Today, I am in my mid-60s and have enrolled myself for PhD. Around this time, MJ School of Human Dynamics took birth. The mission and vision are inclined to support the fulfillment of one's cherished dreams in many ways. We at MJ School of Human Dynamics have thought of a timely webinar, and this is the result which is available today. I am sure that many of the participants today cherish a doctoral dream. Like me, each one of you can fulfill your long cherished dreams and make it a reality. Our panel of speakers shall be deliberating on how to fulfill the dream of acquiring a PhD, unleash the desire to pursue a PhD, facilitating guidance and need-based facilitation. I wish you all the very best of learning in today's webinar en route to fulfilling your PhD dream. At this stage, I would like to request all the participants, if you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat box, which we will take up at the appropriate time. Now, I would like to introduce our today's moderator of the webinar, Dr. Mahavir Jain. Dr. Mahavir Jain, I have met about 20 years back, and after that, I have not been able to get out of his clutch. I am still sticking to him, and I hope I will be continuing to do so. This is so far as I am concerned. About Dr. Mahavir Jain, he is a postgraduate in psychology, and he has been lucky enough to get the guidance of professors like Uday Parikh, Professor Prayag Mehta, and Professor none other than Dr. T.V. Rao. He has a long career of 45 years. He has started his career with the B.V. Giri National Labour Institute in the year 1976. And since then, he is in the field of human research development in several areas. Most important of his activities are working towards taking care of the issues of child labor in this country, for which he has worked with in International Labour Organization while implementing the same through Bibigiri National Institute, Labour Institute. He has developed several training models for ILO, UNICEF, and many state governments. He is an accredited trainer and facilitator of ISAPs. He has held several positions of ISAPs at the national level as also at the chapter levels. He has conducted several in-house trainings for India and abroad, like ILO and UNICEF, and many of the reputed public sector undertaking as also private sector undertaking in this country. He is an outstanding facilitator in the field of applied behavioral science, and in the sensitivity training, HRD areas, motivational training, communication, team building, and organization development. He has conducted more than 2,500 in-house training interventions. He has authored and edited 55 books and 120 articles. He has been awarded for his achievement with Indira Gandhi Excellence Award and Bharat Gaurav Award. Dr. Jain has been cited in many national and international biographical reference books. Right now, he is the mentor with MJ School of Human Dynamics since 2020. He is the chief mentor and patron of Apna School, a unique educational intervention. He is the chief initiating officer and Harmony honorary secretary general with initiatives and intervention organization of human resource expert at New Delhi. He is also the chairperson of the academic board ABRA Educational Hub, Noida. I can tell you from my experience that anyone attending his interventions, classes, or training, even if you attend it for few days together, you will never be able to be as successful in going to sleep. That is my, my experience and several takeaways you will carry on. Now, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Mahavir Jain to coordinate today's proceedings. Thank you all.
Friends, it's a lifetime experience, and it comes rarely, where my colleague, my guru, and my guide, my philosopher, Professor T.V. Rao and Dr. Dalpat Swarupriya, with whom I have struggled, learned, and shaped myself. दोस्तों, टीवी और दलपत इन दोनों को इंट्रोड्यूस करना, मुझे लगता है कि हम 40 साल से ज्यादा से मिल रहे हैं एक साथ. That is the beauty of this, and that's why we have created this. And my interest was to be with TV Rao sir and Dalpat. We have worked together at Udaipur, and we were child. I was immature, and I was only thinking to do education. Where Rao sir, Professor Uday Parikh, Professor Priyag Mehta were there, and it was a Triveni Sangam, and which is the first time in the history of psychology, all three legends were there to shape us. Shape us means Dalpat and myself. We were together, and what to talk about, all three. And recently, I have received a feedback from one of the very old psychologists from Udaipur itself, where T.V. Rao has given significant interventions at Udaipur. And Professor Vijay Lakshmi said, Mahavir, you are a Triveni, you are a combo of Uday Parikh, T.V. Rao, and Priyag Mehta. What they have done, you all combine all three fields and doing that was the greatest feedback I received, and I feel very happy about it. Talking about TV, he is my mentor, and मुझे ये कहेंगे कि मैं तो एकलव्य हूँ टीवी राव का, and I feel jealous of Dalpat. He worked for couple of years with TV, and I felt I am away from, but I did what I have been taught by TV at Udaipur Psychology Department, and now we have urge to build this department to new heights also. talking about what I have learned, and I'm very informal, not like Mr. Burman. He read out, and I'm not comfortable with myself. TV is a perfect professional, researcher, student, professor, teacher. And what I call him is a role model. And what I have learned is how to dedicate and love the profession. When I was a student, we did everything, cleaning the department to do the research in the department. I hope Dalpat will agree with me. And we were from 7 to 7. We were there in the department, and today also I'm there from 7 to 7. That is the greatest learning. I have to go beyond and learn, go beyond and cherish what you have been doing. That kind of culture which TV has created in me, still I'm going further and further. And how to work in where the facilities are not there. We were the first batch, maybe second, and all 9 Ratnas are doing different significant work in our own area. Friends, I can talk and talk about both of us. TV is no, TV doesn't need any introduction. He is a well-known personality in terms of HRD. He has developed many interventions at national and international. He served international organization. He facilitated the system in the country, especially bureaucrats, civil services. He has facilitated, created HRD network, national HRD network, academic of HRD. He uh, he fueled ISABs also, and I still hope he's not happy with what he has created, and many more things to happen and will come. What I like about his very systematic approach to research, training, development, and he has done in uh, Javada University also. So he is well known for creating a systems, which is uh, which is great learning for all of us. Let me what he has contributed, and this he is well known professor at, of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and he is still working. He is continuing his relation. That is great, and I have also learned, and I am also contributing where I have worked. He is a chairman and professor at LNT professor, and the विरासत में ये है प्रोफेसर उदय पारिक भी एलएनटी प्रोफेसर अहमदाबाद में रहे ये XLRI जमशेदपुर में जाके इन्होंने किया नहीं ये डेवलप many system and for you HRD concept at LNT emerged from their researches interventions and every department now in industries called HR department the contribution goes to TV and he has a 50 years experience. And friends, he is known as a father of HRD in India and significantly known in the world also. Friends, he is the first in creating many institutions, which I am not naming. And he has done national building and administrative reforms commission. He was there. He was member of Handelwal committee also. And he is known for consulting work and serious work. Many people don't call TV, he is very systematic, and that's why those only call they want an outcome. He has written many books, more than 60, maybe 100, I can't remember now, and well known, well received, well communicated, and very, this is appropriate for today, is he has done 2 PhDs, one in psychology and another is in OD, organizational development. And I'm curious to know why TV went for 2 PhD. He has created thousands and thousands person in PhD and doctorate, and he has, that is interesting. And my concern is why he has not gone for delete. What deprived of, that is my concern. Friends, I can speak and speak. And my dear friend Dalpat, we were together for 2 years. We worked together. हम दोनों जाते थे तो दलपत आता तो महावीर कहाँ है, महावीर होता तो दलपत कहाँ है. Like we travel. We did post graduation in psychology from Udaipur University. He did PhD. He was a reader in HRM, Human Resource Management. He is a faculty and professor at Faculty of Management Studies since 1988. He has worked with TV from 1974 after leaving Udaipur to 83. He has written 2 very valuable researches measuring organizational climate. Yes, and 12 articles which are nationally and internationally published. He had done, like me also, I also work with World Bank. He has also completed uh, World Bank project also, and he's continuing. He has not mentioned that he has headed one of the management institute at Surat also. This is what I have heard, and I welcome both, because what to welcome, they are part and parcel of us. So now TV and Dalpat, floor is yours. And first question, you can share the initial remarks or how you are feeling. And after that, why PhD is necessary for all of us. TV.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
First of all, I think congratulations, Dr. Mahavir Jain and team whosoever is responsible for getting all of you together. It's a great pleasure, honor, and particularly exciting to see both Dr. Jain and Dr. Sarupriya on this uh, WebEx. So wonderful to see them both. I still go back to 1971 when we started when the three of us, Prayag Mehta, Dr. Parikh, and I started the um, applied psychology. Actually, it's called psychology department in MB College. And I think we all have shared a lot of close relationship. It was much more than a student-teacher relationship. I think that continues even now. I think they have also invited Raju. Raju is a night bird. I think as soon as he gets up, he said he will join, and he happens to be Dr. Sarupriya's PhD student. He did his PhD in 360-degree feedback. So I'm so happy that you're doing this. The only thing I can say is that I understand your objective is to work for a doctorate, for a PhD. Am I right?
Yeah.
All of you are interested in a
Or
PhD.
research in general.
Research in general, yeah. PhD is just a degree that you get. But I mean, you don't have to necessarily get a PhD, but if you can work for it, nowadays the options have gone up. In fact, I have been trying to promote with universities. Somebody has about 10 to 15 years of experience. If he or she can write a book on the experience, with some new lessons and insights for others, that person could be awarded a PhD. Because research is nothing but discovering something new. Discovering something new. And I believe also it is, in a research it is said you can produce a thesis, something new. A synthesis. A person with 10 years of experience would have had about 30 years of life, because you enter any career around 20, 20, 21, 22. So 10 years experience means you are 32, 33, let's say even 35. That means you are carrying with you 30 years of life. And if you go back, reflect about it, even the 10 years experience plus your college days, university days, and write a thesis for the future. How in future people can be helped to grow better than the way we have grown. We all grew, we all have accomplished something. I think that can be a thesis. So it's a good idea to work for a thesis. I will tell you at some point in time my own story. As soon as I finished my master's in psychology from Osmania, actually, if you have read that my book on effective people, you have a little bit of history about how my teachers influenced me in terms of changing my career. If you haven't, I think it's very easy to get. It just costs about 300 rupees. And this is one thing I would strongly recommend, that you cannot be a good researcher if you don't learn to read books and journals. You have to learn the habit of, you can't get a PhD with WhatsApp messages, LinkedIn messages, and Facebook and Twitter and things of that kind. They hide a lot of information then give you, and they give you quite a bit misinformation also. So they are not enough. They are good sources to get to know what is going on in the minds of people, but they are not. You can't do research on LinkedIn and Facebook, but you can get stimulated with this. I think you have to start with a real drive. So coming back to my story, I did my master's in psychology. Admission to psychology is an interesting story. I started as a science graduate, and that is true with Dr. Mahavir Jain and Dr. Sarupriya. Both were science graduates, right, Mahavir?
Yeah.
Geology
Geology and biology also.
and
Two.
biology. Dalpat, I forget,
And
yours was botany,
physics, chemistry,
biology.
mathematics.
Huh?
Physics, chemistry, mathematics.
Mathematics, chemistry, right. You know, prior to that, if you are a BSc, you don't get admitted to MA psychology. You should be a BA psychology. But we changed that game. And I think maybe Osmania was the second university to admit people with any graduation. Not Osmania, Udaipur. But Osmania never admitted. Andhra University was the first where I joined and made sure. And now the reason was I was a BSc, mathematics, physics, chemistry. And then I went for my B.Ed in a college called Regional College of Education. Those days started with Ohio State University. I wanted to be in chemistry. And when I wanted to do my MSc chemistry, the principal of Loyola College felt that I'm too young to go for MSc chemistry. It needs certain amount of maturity. He didn't tell me that, but he said, you are too young. I'll give you a demonstrator job. You come here, work for 2 years in the chemistry lab, then apply for MSc chemistry. It is only later I understood why he was saying that. Because actually, when I graduated in 1965, I was probably about 18 years when I got my BSc. Registered date of birth is different. I may have been at best 19 years. So he thought 18-year fellow going to learn chemistry is not a good thing. So he got an application form for me. They said, I would give you 75 rupees stipend, but there is this college called Regional College, which has just advertised, NCERTs, and they will give you anyway stipend. So 1 year you go there, do your B.Ed, and then come back. I'll give you one more year demonstrator, then applied for MSc chemistry. I went to Regional College, and I was topping in most of the subjects. Why? Not because I was a bookworm. I was not reading much. I was sitting in the class and listening attentively to each and everything the professor said and write notes. And then, if necessary, go and consult in the library. To my surprise, I was again youngest in the college. Most of the others were practicing teachers with MSc biology, MA, whatever, history, etc., etc. But I topped the university there in science education. At the end, then I thought I will go back to chemistry. Then my the professor Praful Dave, psychologist, he just returned, I think, that particular year from USA. He worked on achievement motivation in school children and so on. So he said that, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do chemistry as join as a lab assistant demonstrator and then go for MA. He said, you'll be wasting your life. I said, why do you say so? He said, you have aptitude for psychology. Because I have been topping and I was probably very good in the class. So I said that who is going to give me admission to MA psychology, because I don't have BA psychology, I'm a BSc. He said, yeah, that is true, but there is one professor who could be innovative. I'll write to him and tell him that our B.Ed here is equivalent to anything that is taught in BA psychology. So he wrote a letter to Dr. Parameshwaran of Osmania University. And that's a big history anyway. I've narrated it so many times. I don't want to narrate now. So I went there. Parameshwaran went out of way. He got me admitted. He changed the rule to get me admitted because on the basis of a letter of Parameshwaran, they used to admit M.Ed students of Osmania to MA psychology, but he had to make an exception of B.Ed student of regional college is equivalent to M.Ed of Osmania University, etc., etc. Very young professor. I mean, he always remained. Mahavir and Dalpat also met him. He came to Udaipur University.
Yeah.
He died about, I think, about 15 years back. Uday Parikh about 12 years ago. Prayag just last year. I think we lost all of these great people. Now the story is, as soon as I completed, I topped in Osmania again. As soon as I completed, I was given a job to start psychology department in Andhra University. When I went there, now this is where the story of relevance to you. I was very keen to do my PhD. So the professor there, Professor Ramakrishna Rao, he also, I think, died last year. He was Vice Chancellor of Andhra University and also almost a minister in N.T. Ramarao's cabinet those days. Ramakrishna Rao said was a specialist in parapsychology. Parapsychology, I'm sure most of you know what parapsychology is, paranormal phenomena. So he wanted me to do research on dreams. He got special equipment from Germany to expose people to fraction of a second, some stimuli, which only the experimenter knows. You expose the person for a fraction of a second. We don't even know what is that. It's called tachystoscope. You expose that and then later on you see if the fellow is able to dream. To see the psychic phenomena, the mind has the capability to absorb even things which you may not have paid attention to, but it registers in your mind. So he got that and I started working on it. But within about 6 months of my starting work, one of my dream professors, now you dream professors not because you met them, but because you heard of them. Like I think some of you may have heard of me. Like yesterday, I think when Sarika Singh telephoned me. She's used a very interesting term. It's my dream come true, sir. I cannot believe that I am talking with you, sir. I, I felt a little funny. Nice of you, Tusharika, to say that. If you remember, I told you, pinch yourself. It's nothing like a dream, but we all had dream professors. You only heard from others. So Uday Parikh was one of my dream professors. I mean, he was my dream professor because I applied to do my PhD with him in North Carolina. This is because my senior went to work with Uday Parikh, recommended by Parameshwaran. And my senior, when he went, I think within 2-3 months, he wrote a letter to us saying that first thing he did was, first he was received by Uday Parikh at the airport. Number two, that he bought a car from Uday Parikh for some $500 and he is now driving the car. Now, you know, as a student, these all become dreams for you. So this was my dream. So I wrote to Uday Parikh that I want to do my PhD like my senior. And if my senior, who was not a topper, I mean, he was almost near topping. If he got a job, we got a PhD, why can't I? Then I got a reply saying that I'm sorry, I am leaving USA, coming back to India, and therefore I can't help you. But he wrote a letter to Rensis Leckert saying that as somebody who wants to do his PhD, would you be interested in taking him? And Rensis, like those days, each letter took about, it's quite unlike now, fatafat you go to the email and do that. There, normally it took about 1.5 to 2 months for any even airmail to reach one place to another place and so on. So Uday was my dream professor. The moment I uh, heard that he's coming to Hyderabad, I went and met him. He and one Suresh Srivastava, and told him that I'm working on this. So immediately both of them offered me. One offered me in IIM Calcutta a research assistant job, and Uday Parikh offered me assistant research officer in Delhi. So I didn't think twice. I went back to Andhra University. I made arrangements to continue to cover my syllabus. Ramakrishna didn't like it because I got all the lab equipment, fixed all of them, but made sure that I'm there till the end of January. There's 2 months left. Then I joined Uday Parikh. Now, this is the most interesting thing. 6 months after I joined Uday Parikh, of course, I can't continue in Andhra University, my PhD. These were the rules. So then I said that, no, my interest is to do my PhD. So Dr. Parikh said, I'm sorry, I'll help you, but I don't think you can do it here because Delhi University is not positively inclined to us. So I couldn't register in Delhi University. It took almost several months until one Dr. Ishwar Bhai Patel from Sardar Patel University came to Delhi to meet Dr. Prayag Mehta in NCERT. And Dr. Prayag Mehta brought him to Uday Parikh. And the 3-4 of us met, and Ishwar Bhai Patel said, if you are interested in PhD, I'll recognize your institute as a Center for Advanced Study in Psychology because I don't have psychology department. The university rule for many years is if you don't have a department, any particular department, you can admit students into that particular discipline if they are working anywhere else in another institute. I mean, these are all interesting kind of things. Now the world has changed, a lot more facilitating the PhDs. So I think Ishwar Bhai Patel, then we applied. Nihai had National Institute of Health Administration applied. That is how I got registered. But after registration, I changed 3 different topics, not one topic. First, I was working on the psychology of health administrators. Later, I worked on the role of district health administrators. Finally, I settled down to work on the impact of medical colleges on medical students. Mahavir mentioned that I have 2 PhDs. I don't have 2 PhDs. I only have 1 PhD. That PhD is from Sardar Patel University. But why people, I mean, it's not the first time I'm hearing several people say that I have 2 PhDs. I think this is because when you choose a PhD topic, it can be interpreted in different ways. So my PhD topic is professional socialization of medical students. It comes under organizational behavior. It comes under educational psychology. It comes under psychology, applied psychology. You can call it. So you can say we have only 1 thesis, but half a dozen PhDs, depending upon. So I don't have 2 PhDs. I only have 1 PhD, and I'm very proud about it. Even today I talk about it. You are all interested in research. Now, sometimes, the way life goes, you don't realize that you have some innate interest, and that innate interest is all the time influencing you. Didn't realize until very recently that this work on which both Dr. Sarupriya and I also wrote a book. This is a book compiling all organizational climate instruments. I think it's a good book. Even today it is relevant. I don't know if it is still out of print, but Dalpat doesn't talk about it. I keep talking about it. We at least have one copy. We had a lot of dreams of making these climate questionnaires available, because these are very useful questionnaires. Even today, they are relevant. If you go through this particular book, they are very relevant even today, because today the different terms are used: employee commitment, employee engagement, employee happiness. All these tools are there, except that the titles may be different and so on. So this is the, now why I say research interest. For my master's dissertation in psychology, I have worked on organizational climate of small scale industries with Dr. Somnath Chattopadhyay, who is very closely known to Mahavir, Dr. Mahavir Jain. I think we all worked together. We also lost him about a year ago. All of these great people are going, they become senior, and then very unfortunate, we miss them. He and I and my another classmate of mine, Hari Gopal, we're still active on Facebook. We have done on organizational climate of small scale industries. Then my PhD was on, I didn't know that this is going to influence this way, was on organizational climate of medical colleges. It is professional socialization. Then Dalpat and I worked on organizational climate of agriculture universities. And we also worked on the professional socialization of students from different institutions, schools of social work, management schools. It was a long project in which we had, unfortunately, that never got published as a book. Uday Parikh and Mathai and I worked on agriculture universities, management process in universities. So this organizational climate seemed to have become a invisible, unknown, and less talked about area of interest. This is because we believe every institution and organization has a culture which influences and impacts what they are able to accomplish and so on. I'll stop here. The point to make is that you have to find out a theme and don't have to worry about in future how this theme is going to be. That should interest you. That you should be passionate about it. Anything that is possible. Uday Parikh and I, we worked on teacher behavior in the classroom. There also we looked at school climate and things like that. Later on, we worked in so many things. HRD is nothing but, we call HRD as competence building, commitment building, culture building, climate and things of that kind. So like that, so many things are there. So to be a researcher, you need to have a question. I want to find this out. I mean, even today I have this question, why do people behave the way they behave? Which is the same question Abraham Maslow asked, or McGregor asked, or anyone asks. I mean, it's not that answers are there. Answers are there to some extent, outcomes of research, but we are constantly asking questions to find answers to this and so on. So that is the beauty of research. If you are a researcher, I think you are restless, you are all the time working, you are writing, you are communicating, you are listening, you are understanding, and you're growing in all this. So I think at this point of time, you don't need to worry. You just ask yourself, what is it that bothers me? What is it that I know? And anything when you look at can bother you. Like when I see a magazine, business manager with a title Gen Z, now series of questions come to my mind. I read quickly some articles. How are Gen Z being perceived by Gen X and Gen Y? It's a question. Deserves research. Are Gen Z really like what this magazine, which interviewed 500 people, says? That's again a question for research. So research comes from day-to-day problems and issues we face. It has to be stated in a particular way. It has to be researched, and you collect data, and then at the end of it, you come to some kind of conclusions and so on. So I'm so happy that you are all interested in research and so on. We can continue to have these dialogues. I'll stop here. The problem with people like me, professors, is once we start, the time will just pass. So the only excuse I have is Dr. Mahavir Jain has taken 20 minutes to introduce us. So I can take at least 20 minutes to give my introductory remarks. So thank you. And I'm also eager to listen to Dalpat. I have not met him for quite some time, although we keep chatting once a while. Mahavir, that's it. Later on.
Yeah, thank you. So nice of you. And I have revisited my 50 years of experience with you. I'm cherishing. Dalpat, now is your turn. Now,
Yes,
how was your experience and how your PhD has helped you in personal, professional, and other space of your life, and
yeah,
how
yeah,
we have to go about it? Darpat,
yeah, yeah.
video on kar
Thank
do
you,
na.
thank you very much, Mahavir, and Professor
Video,
TV Rao.
video.
I was,
Okay, go ahead. Otherwise, हाँ. चलो नहीं बोल दो.
we saw him for a while. Maybe he has to click the right button.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for the inviting me. I must say that it's a good venture and a good platform to create researches. I'm thankful to Professor K.V. Rao, who helped me in building my own career, my own lifetime. I worked with him for quite some time, and he has always a mentor for me. Many things being said about me, Mahavijay, and Professor T.V. Rao, but I have a little thing to say that I remember how I got admitted in psychology. Uh, After doing my BSc, I was an average student, uh, and I was looking for a post graduation. In between, I met my friend Rajendra Singhvi, who helped me in getting a admission. He said that, well, if you are interested, you can be admitted in psychology. So then I said, well, fine, I will apply for it and let us see. So at that time, I was part of. I have no idea about psychology. I have no idea about the department because it was new. It was second year of the inception. Uh, then my Raju Bhai Saab has helped me in getting admission, and then I met Professor T.V. Rao, Dev Parikh, and so many people. In fact, I had the family relation with Dev Parikh, Professor Dev Parikh, and Professor T.V. Rao, and Mahavir Jain. We are the part of as a brother. We were together. We studied together overnight. We did spend quite some time into making notes and so on and so on. My my relation with Professor Tivira was as a family. Wherever I visited Ahmedabad from Udaipur, I stay with Professor Tivira only and eat there and do the work and then come back. So this was the
Relationship.
relationship with Professor T.V. Rao. And he was the man who built my career. Otherwise, I was nothing. In fact, he helped me. He wrote a letter to me, uh, and it was surprise to me that it's a 4 months job. And he said it is purely a 4 months job, but now you decide. I said, well, I want to join. And I joined, and then I continued for about 7 to 8 years. And then I shifted to the South Gujarat University. Uh, as a research is concerned, Professor T.V. Rao, Professor Parikh, and Professor Ravi Mathai had a team of work where Professor Mathai did not believe unto the publication. He believed in the work. So he was always working on, and he was meant for the people. Um, Maybe then I started my career with the Professor T.V. Rao, and then I went to the Space Application Center, ISRO, and then from there again I back to the Ahmedabad IIM, and then I started working with the Professor Uday Parikh and Professor T.V. Rao. It was a dream for me to work with them, and it was true, really true, that they made my career. In fact, I was nothing, but maybe he helped me. But during a student, we worked very hard. I and Mahavir Jain, we worked very hard over the night. Sometimes I used to sleep. I and Mahavir Jain used to sleep in the department on the table, and morning we used to go to our houses. It was the really, in fact, one of day my brother said that is a pagal ho gaya hai. Psychologist से pagal ho gaya hai. So I said nothing doing, but maybe this was the phenomena. And
Uh, Dalpat, I am
um,
coming, and you remember the psycho style we did for handbook on social and psychological
social science.
instruments?
Yeah. We did it. We did it. uh, we did a proofreading also
Hmm.
for the book, and maybe whatever work comes, we used to work. In fact, we have helped Professor T.V. Rao in setting up the psychology lab. Entire lab was set by Professor T.V. Rao, and maybe we were supporting him for the work. And maybe I don't know what to say, that Professor T.V. Rao is really a man who can be visualized as a many more years to see. My IIM Ahmedabad was a really dream. Maybe maybe it helped me in building my career, and maybe helping me into the doing research. Uh, about 8 years I spent in doing a research only, where Professor T.V. Rao, Professor Parikh, and I was there. And then maybe, uh, as you must have heard from Dr. Mahavir Jain and Professor T.V. Rao, saying that maybe many things being shared by them. But Professor De Parikh also, we used to work in the night and used to get a cup of tea from Professor Parikh's residence, who was living in a campus. So maybe this was the type of relationship we had. And in fact, we went to picnic and many places and so on and so on. But not much to say, that maybe research is concerned. Research is nothing but a research,
Hmm.
things which exist, but you have to look into. So then maybe you have to research. So that is the type of thing. Everything is there. Moment you put a question mark on anything, it becomes a research. Maybe investigate further. Initially, the topic may not be interested to you. Maybe the area may not be interested to you, but moment you work there, you find it interesting and interesting and interesting. Now, as a PhD guide, I learned that maybe a teacher does not know much about the topic, but the student knows about the topic. Student try to brief their teacher. This is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened, and gradually keep educating the teacher. So then teachers also get educated, get insight into, and maybe tell you that what to do next, and so on, so on. So the research is something which is everywhere in the life, which cannot be taught, but it can be uh, pursued like anything. Uh, Maybe we will see that maybe the um, PhD is something. PhD is not necessary that the PhD means research. but the researchers are the PhDs. PhD is just a degree, uh, but not the only research. Research is a starting point for the doing a research or building up a career. So that is it.
Okay, Dalpat. Are you through, Dalpat?
Yeah, I'm through.
Now, MKB, would you like to take the chat, or you want me to open the floor to
Uh,
ask queries?
so far, there are two questions which I have put in the chat box. There are no other questions at this stage. So I think you take over, and then these two questions during the process will come for.
No, you ask, you will get the answer.
Okay. First question that I have asked: what are the difficulties normally to be tackled in pursuing a PhD?
TV. Rao Saab,
What are the difficulties? That's what is the question.
Yeah. What are the difficulties normally to be tackled in pursuing PhD? Is it data? Is it sources of information? Is it lack of dedication? What are the type of things? Or you don't get literature at a particular place, look for it. Are there some such type of difficulties?
Well, there are many difficulties. First difficulty is to get a right university that suits your requirements. Nowadays, many want to work and at the same time pursue. They don't want to attend classes. Now, in the olden days, it was possible. Once you got a postgraduate degree, a PhD meant only a thesis. So, if you have a guide, if you are in the same city, you can continue. But I think later the regulations have changed. I think now the world is still opening up. I think there are some places where you just have to take two courses, research methods and a subject of importance, and you can register. Most people ask me, I don't want to attend any regular courses. I am willing to register for any university anywhere in the country. So first thing you have to find that. I think if Mahavir or somebody can do a job of actually listing universities that offer PhD courses for students who are not living there, and then what are the minimum requirements, even a directory, a website can be of great help. Second difficulty is to get a guide, good guide, who can think like you. I mean, again, student needs are different. Some students need real good guide. They need to be told what topic to choose, how to do research, etc., etc. So, with very little competency, everything has to be done by the guide. On one hand, on the other hand, some students say, "I want a guide who can lend the name. I am well versed with my PhD. I'll do my work, and all that you need to do." Now, it will be very interesting to know that when Dr. Parikh was to be my guide, he has given full freedom. You do whatever you want. But then I was groping in the dark. He would recommend something. I would review literature, spend 2 to 3 months. At the end of it, he'll come up with another idea. So then I change that and go on to the second idea. At some point of time, then of course, he himself said, "Now, Venkatesh, this is enough has been done. Now you work on something where it is easy to collect data and so on." So you need a guide who is tuned with your thinking and who can help you. But when I finally wrote my thesis and gave it for Dr. Parikh to go through and make comments, I think all that he had done was made some English corrections. That shows that he is also guide passes on. He has already built the confidence on you. You don't need anything. You have done a good job. That is what it is. What is there to be done? I think so. The second important thing is guide. Third difficulty is choosing the right topic. I normally tell people, don't choose topics. I mean, don't be too idealistic that you want to get because you have your whole life to keep on answering questions. If you are looking for a degree, I think do that which is required, which will give you degree with minimum effort. Now, why I say minimum effort is not cutting short. I mean, you should be able to complete in 3 to 4 years. That is what for me is minimum effort. But if you want to go on doing for 10 years a PhD, then that is, I think, a lot of effort, because every now and then. So you have to choose a topic where you is easily accessible. And nowadays anything can be researchable and things like that. So I think choosing the right kind of a topic. Once you do that, I think all the questions you are raising, collection of data, nowadays, review of literature is the easiest thing to do on earth. In the olden days, it was difficult. I remember in 1970, I used to visit every single library in Delhi. As a result, I knew most of the libraries. We were in Greater Kailash, but then I would go to the other side, Delhi University, Institute of Economic Growth, go to USIS library, British library, IIT library, NCRT library, all libraries. I was very familiar those days with almost every library. We were also, so that is very difficult in those days. You know what it meant those days to travel in a bus, DTC bus or whatever is. But today you don't need to do that. The world is in your pocket. All that you have to have is internet connection. You name the book, you can buy it, you can get it, you just put the topic, because review of literature has become so easy. All that you need to know is to be internet savvy. You should have a high speed internet at your place. And I think you have the topic, and then you get all the review of literature. You can formulate it, things like that. So these are not big problems today, but I think finding a university, finding the guide, and tuning yourself to, I think, what is the time that you want to spend, and then what are the areas which thrill you. I think these are, to me, the most important kind of things. Once you have crossed these bridges, other things are very easy. If the day you say that this is what I want to investigate, I think the rest of it can be made very easy.
Excellent.
Dalpat,
I hope that's of use.
Dalpat, you have any
Uh,
point to
I
add?
would like to, I want to add something to the Professor Rao said, is that sometimes it is easier to select a topic in which person has an interest. Person is working in a particular area for 10 to 15 years and he has developed certain ideas and based upon which one can choose a topic. My all PhD students have chosen the topic in the area they were working or they had interest into. Rather than I was interested into doing a research, that's why I called them. But the area that they are working with that is very important for them and they have thorough knowledge because they 10 to 15 years they work with a particular topic, then definitely they have an idea. That's all.
Uh, Dalpat
Yeah.
and TV, I want to share Professor TV Rao's experience. I saw him teaching us as the same time doing PhD for himself. And the way he was doing factor analysis chi-square manually was beauty to watch. At hours together, he was having a small machine doing, and we were watching what this. And the way for 6 months, and the way he has spent at least 6 months to complete, and I saw the first PhD having not less than 700 to 800 pages. It means how much efforts. So what I'm trying to communicate to all of you is the commitment to self for doing PhD at all at cost of your sleep, at cost of your family. You are not putting, even Rav Saab has put his family in native places. Still, I remember he was alone. He used to take us to eat dosa in his own house. He used to prepare all skills and to be around, enjoying at the same time with the 200% commitment to the research topic. And at the same time, doing his own professional work, guiding all of us. And even I remember statistics, he used to teach from 9 a.m. onwards to 5 p.m. continuously. And I have seen first time in my life, the professor is, giving you snacks, taking you to the canteen, have snacks and come back at his own cost, not the cost of this and all. So this is where the supervisor and researcher, the connectivity and understanding play a very, very positive role. And I'm very happy he has mentioned this also. The guide gives you full freedom to work, and you have to honor the freedom to a great research. And that's why you become a great also. And how this can help in your personal life, and it help all of us. He has done PhD and it help us what the pain we have to face. And I am in the same. I did when I was working also. So throughout night, I used to collect the data also, and given full freedom by Professor Priyag Mehta. And fortunately, I did PhD from Delhi University. I was very lucky. So next question.
Yeah, we have one question from Ritika Bajpai to everyone. She says, what are the recent areas in HR and OB area for PhD? I feel Dr. Rao has already replied it, but if there are any take.
I can tell you what interests me, but I can't tell you what are the research areas.
That's it.
Yeah, I see life as continuous. This is one book I have written. I think it gets a mirror image. Can you see it? Effective people.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in this, I defined effective. This is a very interesting story. You must read these books. I have defined effective person as one who is constantly looking inward to discover his or her own strengths and use them to make a difference in the lives of others. So, number one, you should discover your strengths. Number two, use them for others, not for yourself, because your discovering itself is quite a bit of it. Then when I defined this, the publisher Penguin, I sought their help. I want to know who are the so-called, before actually I defined, I want to know who are the effective people. He said, let us run a poll. So Penguin Random House helped me to send a poll on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Twitter those days. This was about 2014. And also sent in a lot of emails, many people, just to nominate an effective person. Thousands of mails. You know the response we got? 3 mails. And that too not consistent. So unfortunately, 7 years ago, if you ask an Indian, name another great Indian, they say nobody else, only me. I mean, everyone will say. So we are all the time, we can't acknowledge the contributions of other people. So I said, all right, if people are not going to give, let me go back to my own experience. Then I started looking at doctors. I said, I looked at civil servants. Who are the civil servants who made a difference in the lives of people? My own contacts. We had Inderjit Khanna, Anil Bodia, Dr. Mehta, who started the Jaipur Foot. All these were civil servants who made a difference in the lives of other people. So I picked up civil servants who have done a lot of social work. Similarly, film actors known for their social work, social workers known for, teachers known for their social work. So this book has 70 such characters: social workers, teachers, film actors, politicians I didn't take because that's a very dicey area to take. Now the question for research is, if you want to know, I mean, that is one definition. Who is an effective person? Are these the only ones? Now today I have a hypothesis, everyone can be an effective person. Everyone is talented. We should direct their attention. So at least in our society, we know some people who are all the time trying to pull down others, some others who are trying to encourage others. What makes the difference? Who are the people who build others? Who are the people who pull down others? Can be a great research in the society, take any sector. Or we have written another book, Leaders in the Making. Anywhere you go, this book is now, we picked up 30 leaders. We use the 12 criteria. You read chapter 2, you will get in this what. So these are 30 well-known leaders in HR. Santrup Mishra, Akhil Basrai, Marcel Parker, N.S. Rajan, Dwarkanath, and so on and so forth. Arvind Agarwal interviewed each one of them. He spent about 8 to 10 hours each. 60 pages case study he has written, all recorded, everything. And when we looked at it, we started seeing what are the competencies demonstrated by these people. And we identified some 485 competency indicators, reduced them to 20, actually 5 categories of competencies. So that is research, qualitative research. Another research. Or you pick up anything in HR, what are the departments which are acknowledged as doing great work? If 10 people say that this HR department helped me, I think that's a great HR department. So can we find 10 people in each? And there are 10 people who say they have made negative impact on me. Can we look at it? Now, what is the positive impact? You can go on and on. I think life is filled with research areas. You don't have to search for it. All that you need to do is to just think and read any journal article. You will get so many research themes to work on. So today after we wrote this book, I'm surprised to see that, look, we only have 28 men and 2 women. This is pathetic. In the last 6-7 years, particularly post-pandemic, if I see webinars, there were more women than men. Now, how come HR leaders in our list of 28 out of 30 are men and only 2 are women? There is something wrong. And we started looking at, I came up with this hypothesis, women leaders have come in larger numbers in the last 10-15 years. So I started getting some people to say that no, you must document women leaders. Their issues are different. Maybe we looked at wrong age group because most of these fellows whom we have interviewed are 55 plus. I said, let us look at 30 plus and identify exclusively women leaders. And the moment you have this question, you open any magazine, you find women leaders coming up. I think women leaders outnumber the men leaders in the last 7-8 years, if you look at it. Only thing is, I think we'll have to document. It's a great research area. What makes them leaders? So there's so much to do. Anything, I mean, that first it should excite you. So I think that is what I would recommend. What excites you? What are the questions you have? They can come from your family. They can come from your own career. They can come from journals, your neighborhood, anywhere they can come.
Dalpat, you want to add? Yeah, TV, continue. You want to say?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Dalpat, you want to add?
I would like to say that maybe it is the broad ideas researcher has, and the guide helps them in framing the research problem in a proper framework. Guide helps them, but that's all.
Okay. MKB, next.
Yeah, one more question. It is a direct question. Have you ever felt demotivated during pursuing PhD? She has narrated her story that while she is a PhD student, she is feeling demotivated at times.
अरे उनका नाम भी ले लो.
हाँ, इनका नाम है सोनाली सोनी.
पूरा बोल.
Then she is feeling demotivated at times because of her family problems and considerations. So this is a direct question. Have you ever felt demotivated during pursuing PhD?
Both of you.
Pursuing PhD, I can't. I mean that I have to really search anything that got demotivated. I think I'm one of those lucky people of, I think only time is, yeah, they were not demotivated, there were difficulties like going to medical colleges and collecting data. Not every medical college will readily give you, then getting the students. And I think there's hard work. I think Mahavir has said that I think hard work is a part of our life. Frustrations, I think they do happen in collection of data and things like that. But you mentioned something, family issues.
Yeah.
That is a separate issue. I think that requires a spiritual way of dealing with. Spiritual way means I think for example, strongly recommend learning meditation, a little bit of it. I think there are many people, some stress management techniques, because I think everyone has some form of family problem or the other. We don't know the nature of your problems, but some of the problems
She
can
has
be
mentioned motherhood issues.
mother.
Motherhood issues.
Yeah, but I think one has to. That's what I'm saying. One has to take it as a part of life. Don't be just ambitious. I think in life, particularly for women, they have to perform multiple roles, and I think as a result, you can't just compare yourself with men and say that, look, he has finished it in 3 years. I have a pregnancy and therefore it's going to take. I mean, that's a part of life. You're contributing in different way to the society. So I think the motherhood issues, you should be able to take it, in its own way and also start enjoying maybe the motherhood. And it's okay. Instead of getting your PhD in 5 years, you get it in 8 years. How does it matter? But you have, I think, already a much more productive person in your family who you are going to look at, that rearing a child is the greatest PhD one can have. Only thing is nobody gives you a degree, but I think every mother is a PhD holder without any university recognizing it. So I think it is something you'll have to. That's where I'm saying you have to deal with it at a spiritual level. You can't. I mean, this is natural problem. Not to get disappointed, and not to say that because you are that it's child requires. I mean, I'm assuming full attention. Not only that, if by chance you have some in-laws who are not sympathetic to you, you have to fight against so many odds. So it's not one issue. There will be so many issues. So I suppose you probably have learned to deal with it and say this is a part of life and let it be. Let it. What they say is
Just
this also will pass on. Buddhism helps you. Vipassana is certainly likely to help you very much. Vipassana is a good technique of communicating to you, or any of these gurus, inner engineering of Isha, Sri Sri, Brahma Kumaris. I think all of them do some good in terms of helping us to. And PhD is not the only thing in life, right? How about all those who don't have PhDs but who have made a lot of service to the society, who have done a lot of difference? It's an ambition you have. That ambition can be postponed when you are mothering a child and things of that kind. So I would, I mean, this is a pep talk I'm giving, but all that I'm saying is they're all possibilities. Yeah.
TV, just to add, she has created the PhD topic herself.
Yeah, that's
She
a
can
great thing.
work on motherhood
Problems of doing a
problems
PhD.
of motherhood. That is the best part of it, and during that discussion, she will be on overcoming the problems also.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
Dalpat,
Uh, as Professor Parikh's daughter, Surbi,
Surabhi, yes.
he did work for child rearing practices in India. So then people can take a different view of that.
good, very good response. So, MKB next.
Yeah, next question is from Birender Kumar Verma. He has, how to choose a right data model for analysis of accuracy of the data in today's dynamic scenarios of huge unstructured data available. to bring in consistency and adaptability and reliability and validity for while doing human resources research in PhD. Lot of good idea areas.
My very simple answer to this is find a guide who can answer your question. I can't answer this. It's too sophisticated.
Say at present you are the guide, so answer in that way.
Yeah, you have to find somebody who is more competent than me. So answer it.
आपसे ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस कंपिटेंसी किसमें है हमें?
नहीं, ऐसी बात तो नहीं है. It depends upon the nature of issues in the data. If the data are not reliable, polluted, what are the sources and so on. So it all depends on the topic. So it needs a lot of detailed discussion and debate. So this is something which one can't answer just as a textbook answer. Okay, so there are many sub questions in this particular question. Reliability of data, models of data, and so many things. That is why I'm not venturing to give a generic kind of an answer to this. Nalpat, you have anything?
Yeah. See, the reliability of the data and validity of the data. Guide can help you in calculating that one. So there are various ways of calculating reliability, validity of the data, consistency of the data, and so on, so on. So then maybe with the help of the guide, one can find it out.
Mahabir, anything you would like to add?
See, this is a very big question. And I will also go in generalizing. I can share my own experience of analyzing data, interpreting, and this is you have to limit your research very specific. You have to design in such a way. You have to limit yourself. You create boundaries of yourself. And there are now techniques. The computer is there, factor analysis, all we depend on the technology. And technology gives you clear picture of what your doing data is communicating to you. And there is a need to interpret in a very specific way, keeping what Professor Rao said on the basis of your topic, on basic of situation, you interpret and internalize. And in my opinion, interpreting and developing insights of your data is the key factor of doing PhD. If you can understand, interpret, means you have achieved it. That is what in front of Professor Rao I'm saying. You understand, analyze, interpret, and this is what PhD is for.
Okay. Now I take up next question from Tusarika Singh.
Tusarika, can you yourself present? Now ask the person to present the question. That will be a new one.
Yeah, Tusarika, please come on.
Yes, my question is to respected Professor. Today, I used to say that, sir, that I'm a restless creature, and today you have stamped on the restlessness. That restlessness is a sign of life, and I'm very happy on this. I often ask myself, should I go for a PhD or not? I'm getting so much of clarity right now. And my question is, how does PhD intellectual potential?
Did you ask how does PhD help in intellectual potential? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir. Or how does it demonstrate intellectual potential?
How does it
demonstrate?
Demonstrate. You see this book which I mentioned to you, Leaders in the Making,
Yes, sir.
written by two of us, Arvind Agarwal. Arvind Agarwal retired as President HR of RPG Group. President. Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, you are
President
audible.
HR of RPG Group. Earlier, I was in President HR of RPG 20 years. He was President of HRD Network. He was also CEO, Chief Executive Officer of JCB Escorts in Delhi. He used to be there in Delhi. And before that, he was with Modi Xerox. And he is IIM Ahmedabad graduate, 1973 batch. He did his PhD about 7 years ago. That is when he was in his 60s, late 50s and 60s. He registered in IIT Bombay, slogged for 5, 6, I don't know how many years. He did his PhD on leadership. Now, he says after he completed his PhD, I mean, there was no need when you are president HR of a company like RPG, RP Goenka Group, such a big, maybe I think earning a very fat salary, didn't need money and things of that kind. Why did he go for a PhD? I don't know. I think this is a question you should ask him. But after having completed his PhD, his outlook seems to have changed. He says, Stevie, before that, as an MBA, you know, he's an MBA and has been a HR manager and a CEO. I never paid attention to this review of literature. Today, if you ask me a question, I say, what does the literature say? Because many of our problems already have solutions in the literature, in research. So you can find solutions. And we are wasting our time all the time rediscovering the same thing. This is what he says. So when we started writing the book, I think one of the first things we did was to review the literature. And that's where he came up with this interesting article by Warren Bennis on crucibles of leaders, crucible experiences of leaders. And he stuck on this and he said, what are the crucible experiences Indian leaders find? And that is how I think the result is this book. If you catch hold of this book, it just costs you 500 rupees. It's all over there at this point of time in Delhi bookstalls, airport bookstalls everywhere. Go to this Amazon or so on, you'll get this book. So that shows the utility of a PhD. Somebody at the age of 55 doesn't need money, has accomplished all that he wanted, discovers that PhD changes his outlook. Now, if you happen to do it at the age of 25, why do you have to wait till 55? Now, imagine at 25, if you are getting the wisdom, what you will get in 55, I think you should get it at 25 or 20. So why
Exactly.
waste your time? I mean, PhD gives you a discipline of looking at life problems, issues. It gives you a discipline. It is not what exactly you discover. It is the process of doing the PhD. Okay, that is very helpful. So I hope that answers your question.
Very interesting, sir. Clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go with the
Yes.
second question, MKB?
Yeah, please. You can tell.
Is it always mandatory to use the primary data, sir?
No, not mandatory. I think a lot of PhDs are on the basis of secondary data, even tertiary data. Stories of stories of stories. That's all possible. It all depends upon your interest. All those people who are in history, what primary data they use. I think today history is totally being distorted. You know, somebody goes back and that somebody discovers even that was secondary, that is a translation. So I think it is research is always a research on the basis of whatever is available to you. If you can get access to primary data, it is fine. I want to collect data about what people thought in the year 1920. They don't exist now. What do I do? So you have to go back, or 1850, or Vivekananda. I mean, what is the primary data of Vivekananda or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa? Or I think there is this Tamil movie, you know, nowadays it's talked about Ponniyin Selvan seem to have existed almost about 3,000 years ago. One doesn't know. I think somebody has written a book on it. So I think it all depends upon what is it. But if you are looking at contemporary issues, it is useful to have primary data. Collect primary data, talk to people. They have its own, collecting primary data has its own charm. But if you can't do that, then I think you can always go for historical, secondary, tertiary data that existed. I think the records are always there. So I don't know if your question is it necessary? Answer is not necessary.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
One is there are a lot of appreciations about the replies they are getting. So this is one part. Any other questions who can ask directly?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Rao, this is Shortpujita. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can hear you. Yeah.
I'm a history student, and I am a student of Mahavir Jain mythology also.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
is a long 27 years old. But before that, I enrolled myself in the PhD in history in Calcutta University. And somewhere or other, because it's a misfortune, I cannot say because all the professors are here. Oh, I could not complete, though my synopsis is approved by the Kolkata University, the committee. Student, it's a medieval Bengal movement at that time, 1929 to 1947. Research guide also very in the history fields. Dr. Aniruddha Dey was there, Ray was there, but could not I complete myself, though I'm aspiring to be a teacher and I'm aspiring for my PhD. So somehow, because of the some conflict between the two professors, I was the victim. So as per my guide, I changed the university to in the Jadavpur University. And I am not a direct student of the Jadavpur University. So my attention was something different. And what I already selected my topic, that is already, I think, selected by someone from the Bangladesh students. So I have to search and research for another topic itself. As a result, after 6 years, 7 years, I just maybe I demotivated myself. I turned down, changed, and I joined the social sector band one because I joined here Kolkata University that time because you have the political issues are there, and I am not. I am a student only, not believe in any political. So I am a victim. So I joined in the social sector, and I know about the child labor movement and everything, and that way I came in this direction. Last 10.5 years, I'm in Orissa, Bhubaneswar, and working with as a UNICEF consultant with the tribal language in the Odisha and how to develop different modules and how to the 6 to 14 years. So I thought of maybe I will change because that is because of so many primary data I have. I have to visit so many schools and there. So I've changed it and changed my, though I dreaming about my PhD. So I shares with the people and the guides also from the Revenue University and others. But I could not get that so much time. Though my commitment is there, so much time, I could not get time out of it because in the UNICEF program, as you know, the 24/7, you have to work. So that's the
But
way. Right now,
Sanjita,
I'm
can you come
starting
with
my
the straight
questions.
question?
Yes, I'm
Sanjita, come
starting
with
my
the straight.
question. So I leave it because this process, the training and TOT training of trainers, and the process psychology is there. Though I'm not a year, but some bits of as a co-trainer, I worked with him. Is it possible that's in the different? I am in the social science. I aspired for the dreaming in the main the training or training and development or any other issues related to my experience. Is it possible based on my primary data source?
Based on your
Yes.
Primary
Primary,
data source. She has a
Primary
lot of
data
primary
source.
data.
no. What is your question? Is it possible to be a trainer? Is that what you're asking?
No, training and development. I have to be pursuing my PhD,
Yes.
in training and development.
Yeah.
So
So why,
switching on and switching over, is it possible to aspire for my pursuing the PhD?
why not? What difficulties do you see? Training and development is a universally applicable area,
Yes.
starting with tribal children to young mothers to children to anywhere. Okay, training and development deals with a continuous, I think, communication. What is training? Training is nothing but impacting people through communication in a formal setting, which is a classroom or outside a classroom and so on.
Yes.
So I think you have had a rich experience, and I want to say that those 5-6 years you have worked on some particular topic, which I think because of conflict of the two advisors you could not pursue. I am very unfortunate, but I think any work that you do in your life, please always look at it as a resource available. It is there in your repertoire. You have the experience, you have reviewed literature, you examine. So work you do for your PhD, even if you change half a dozen times the topic, is never a waste, because PhD is a process of acquiring constantly knowledge through review of literature. It's a different
Yes.
matter. You didn't get your PhD because of some unfortunate reasons, but I think the knowledge is with you. I think you should feel proud about it. And now I think if you have many options before you, you should be able to look at what kind of a T&D, training and development topic can I pick up. If you are
Okay.
working with it, yeah, that is the way I look at it. I think it is possible. It's a good idea to do this. You need to apply your mind and talk to some of the people in UNICEF itself who have done, I think, some great work. Yeah. There is a person who was associated with UNICEF long ago, Dr. Uday Parikh's friend, Sharada Devi. I heard the name. She's pretty old. She's in her late 80s or early 90s. I think Surabhi Purohit, who lives in Jaipur. Mahavir, you can put them in touch with Sharada Devi or Rajeshwari Narendran. One of them will know. So Sharada Devi is a good person to help you look at training and development. If she has, at this point of time, she is in health, then I think it's okay. So good. I think these are very good questions, very nice questions. So you have
Many,
participants from all over the country, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
even beyond.
Oh,
Beyond.
yeah. I see on the
Beyond,
screen
beyond.
50 people, but maybe there are a large number whom I can't see.
Yeah, any more questions, Perry?
Yes, there are
Hello, sir.
two. Acha, okay. I
Hello,
have two
sir.
questions in chat box also.
बाद में.
Okay.
हाँ.
TV Rao sir, it's pleasure meeting you. Dalpat sir, TV Rao sir, it's been an honor to be with you. My question to you is there any kind of framework that we can follow to make the hypothesis? Right now, we said that the hypothesis is the main aspect or the key aspect to pursue PhD. So is there any kind of framework for that?
Normally they say when you don't have a hypothesis, it is null hypothesis. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
you don't always start with a hypothesis. You can start with a question. There are many questions which can't be put in a hypothesis form. I just want to know, when Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy, you all know, started simply with what makes people behave the way they behave. He didn't have any hypothesis. He went on interviewing people from different sections of life, went on asking the same question, went on recording. That is when he suddenly dawned on him that people behave the way they behave if they are hungry. That is the most important thing, basic needs. Then he said these needs, once they are fulfilled, then go to the next safety needs. He created the theory of hierarchy of needs. This is his discovery. Now, after pandemic, I started revisiting this, and I said that, look, Maslow's need hierarchy is too sophisticated. You don't need 5 categories of needs. Pandemic has demonstrated that you are actually governed by 3 categories of needs. I said the first category is need to survive, survival needs, which includes all basic needs of Maslow. So if you have survived the pandemic, right? Many people didn't survive, they're gone. Coronavirus finished and they've also gone. But we all escaped, we all managed. What is our need? And immediately post pandemic, if you look at people, they say we want to be secure.
Yes.
Security. What security? Food security. I want to get food so that I have lived without anything, but I can't live without food. I can clean my own house, do all those kind of things. Economic, little money to buy this food. Economic security. Now later people started saying, where is the job? Employment security. So security needs, emotional security. I need my family to take care of. Okay, so security needs, which includes even love and belonging has become security. And once these are fulfilled, I think all that you need is identity. So I crushed the self-actualization and found these results. Yeah, some of you may have heard this and say everyone wants an identity. Even you search for PhD is an identity. And identity is a constantly changing kind of. This is a way of looking at it. There is no hypothesis. At this point of time, you want to formulate a hypothesis, you can put it in the form of a hypothesis. But right now, it is a question. Is this true? You can form it in the form of a hypothesis that identity needs are the most important needs after security, or you can form it in any other way. So it's a question mark. Even when you test a hypothesis, it is a hypothesis. It's a question mark. You want to. So you can start with a question mark, and if you have some possible answers, convert it into a hypothesis. So it's not necessary to start with a particular kind of hypothesis. When we started this book, we had no hypothesis. What are the crucible experiences of leaders? Then we went on interviewing and we found that the crucible experiences are there. If you don't have, if you are a single parent, you have one kind of experiences. You have two parents, another kind of experiences. If you are in rich family, another kind of experiences. If you are in poor family, another kind. If you are into a good school, one kind of experiences. So we documented all of it and we said this is how schools impact, this is how the family impacts, etc., etc. We have now, of course, we concluded by saying that what family you are born into doesn't matter. You can be a good leader. I mean, this is a hypothesis. You can come back and say that no, that's not true. It is important to have right family. Okay, that's a hypothesis. So I would say not necessary. Research always begins with a question mark, not necessarily a hypothesis. Hypothesis comes at a later stage. Does it
Yes,
answer?
MKB, you
Yes,
take
sir.
one. We can take 4 questions. So you 2 questions you have.
Sudhanshu has few questions. Sudhanshu, would you like to ask directly or I read out your questions?
No, Sudhanshu is available.
Yeah, you ask your question, Sudhanshu.
Voice.
Sudhanshu is not audible. Yeah,
आप बोल दीजिए.
yes. His questions are two questions he has put. One is
Let me introduce TV. Sudhanshu is heading Gurukul with Hero Motocorp Private Limited. And he has started from scratch and now it is a well-known Gurukul in India, providing skill development, developing, ensuring, and all the training interventions, technical and skill training intervention he's doing, and he's known in the country. Yeah. This is what Sudhanshu is. Yes, Sudhanshu,
yeah,
would you like to ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chaliye, Barman Saab.
Yeah, Sudhanshu's questions are to Dr. TV Rao. One is you'd like to hear opinion of Dr. Rao on two topics he has selected. One is development of high performing team members, one subject. Number two is recognition of prior learning for industrial workers. So he wants some views from Dr. Rao.
I think there is a lot of literature on high performing teams. Lot of literature. Harvard Business Review has a lot of these. In fact, I used to teach a course in IIM Ahmedabad on high performing teams, where we used nice movies from Apollo and so many of those kind of things. I think I would suggest that rather than my being able to answer such a good question, I don't think I can answer in such a simple way. I would recommend that to go to the net and just put high performing teams. You get a lot of literature on this. Now the only problem is when you see these high performing teams are never permanent. They're all situational. In India, just the other day I was listening to one Swamiji of this Swaminarayan. I think he lives in Baroda. Very interesting talk he has given uh, on teamwork. He talked about a Oscar-winning film from Germany, which went to, I think it is, he mentioned 2006, but when I went to YouTube, I found it is 1989. A movie in which there are no actors and there is no sound, and it's a 6 or 7 minute movie which beautifully depicts teamwork, because 5 people standing in 5 corners and then they get a reward. They are standing at a place, even if one moves slightly, the reward, which is the box, which is the center, I think will tilt and then all of them will go. So how do they move so carefully, count each step to so get the reward so that each one of them can actually receive the reward. But if you are greedy, then what happens? I think it's a beautiful kind of a thing. So many, I think, stories are there. So many things are there in terms of high performing teams. And this Swami said something very interesting. He said, one Indian is equal to 3 Japanese. I mean, this is his way of saying. We also said this. One Indian is equal to 3 Japanese. 2 Indian is equal to less than 1 Japanese. How is it possible? Each Indian can do, is bright and can do the work of 3 Japanese, but you put 2 Indians together, I think they, instead of becoming 6, they become less than 1. It's an interesting observation. A very interesting observation. This is because I have written again in my book, Effective People. If you see this, you must read the last chapter of this book. Effective people are integrative. They are not divisive. They integrate. And in our book on leaders in the making also, we found that effective HR managers are integrative. They are not divisive. I don't think Americans and American researchers understand this, because their culture is different, their issues are different, not exactly the way we understand. Our culture is much more divisive. They are systems driven. We are people driven, emotion driven, and we are divisive. From childhood, we are taught to divide people by caste, by community, by religion, by socio-economic status. It is in our psyche. That is why high performing teams becomes very, I mean, it's highly situational. It has to be constantly worked. So many things have to be done. So it is a topic which is worth researching in Indian context. High performing teams don't remain high performing all the time. What makes high performing teams sustainable? And what is it some of the companies done to make sure that the high performing teams are sustainable rather than, I mean, these are questions that you can ask. They deserve investigation into this. I think I think the missionaries are a good example. Find out what happens in Chinmaya mission, Ramakrishna mission. Are they high performing teams? Some of the Jesuits, then Christian missionaries. Now you also can see, I mean, if you have some interest, I will not touch them with a big poll, but if you have interest, you can ask this question: why are high performing teams a good property of now parties like BJP, which seems to be doing everywhere very well? If yes, what is it that is making them? Or what is it that making some other parties crumble? Okay, how to build? I will not touch them, because for me, politics are they are. I wouldn't even want to go anywhere near them. They are unpredictable, and it will be, to me, I mean, it's not my cup of tea. But if some of you are interested, you can do that. And I would say, rather than touching politicians, why don't you go to organizations? Why don't you go to schools? Pick up some of the schools where there are some good high performing teams. And if they managed, then what is it that they have done? OD will give you some answers. Any OD work will be something which will. I can go on, but I think search, but I think I would say high performing teams in Indian context gives a totally different outlook. I don't know if that answers you. It's a very broad kind of answer. Yeah.
MKB, you have any question? Last question.
One more question I find from Ria Misra. She asks how one can develop the ability to deliver research project within given time scale and budget.
How to deliver research project within time scale. I think planning, I would think is very, very important. Anticipating. You see, most of us, there is a competence which is which we call it, Pradeep Kandwala, my colleague at IIM Ahmedabad, used to teach creativity. And one of the qualities of a creative person is ability to elaborate anything that is given. So when you plan a project, you should think you should spend enough time to elaborate. That is why the Chinese say 80% of the time you spend in sharpening the saw, and 20% is good enough if you good saw to cut the tree. I think it may be an exaggeration, but I think it's a good point. I think we should spend enough time to plan. So if you have to carry out the research project, I think you should plan in all details. Most of us goof up, ambitious, and we have anticipated difficulties and I think unexpected timelines. Somebody is pushing you to put a timeline, so you put it, or the budget is over, so you put the timeline. We are not planned. So my recommendation for doing what you want to do is a thorough planning, elaboration, step by step kind of working out, and a thorough monitoring. That will help you to deliver. First of all, I mean, if you are unrealistic goals, then you cannot, I mean, your question can't be answered. First of all, you have to be realistic by thinking elaborately, planning, taking all factors into consideration. And over a period of time, experience makes you much richer in terms of if you have goofed up in one project, next project you are careful, and so on and so forth.
MKB, last question from query from Biba.
Viva, yeah, she is waiting to ask a question. Viva, can you go ahead direct live?
Yes, MKB, yes. Thank you so much. Uh, TV Rao sir, this is Vibha from Udaipur, Rajasthan.
Yes,
And I always wanted to earn my PhD. और कैसे अर्न करनी है ये मुझे आज पता चल गया है. How to earn a PhD. My query is quite different. हो सकता है PhD से रिलेटेड है या नहीं है, I don't know. It may be a topic for PhD. आपको जब मैंने देखा अभी महावीर को मैं विटनेस कर रही हूँ, विजय लक्ष्मी मैम को मैं मिली हूँ अभी पिछले वीक में. How you guys are still capable enough to do the work with consistency, आपका enthusiasm. आप फर्स्ट बैच से हैं, काफ़ी सारे यहाँ पर जो उदयपुर का कॉलेज है यहाँ पर फर्स्ट बैच से आप हैं. अभी तक आप क्या ऐसा ड्राइविंग फोर्स है जो आपको अभी तक उतनी ही एंथुजियाज्म से मतलब आप भरे हुए हैं? अभी आपने कोरोना के बाद में भी 2 बुक्स लिख ली हैं जो आप अभी बता रहे हो 2014 के बाद में आपने इतना रिसर्च किया है. What is then that in you? वो अगर थोड़ा हमको गाइडेंस मिलेगा, मुझे मिलेगा तो शायद मैं लाइफ में कभी रिटायर्ड नहीं होंगी.
ये एक मिनट.
Dalpat, you have a chance to. अच्छा चल करी टीवी. Dalpat, you can share why you are not retired or tired.
It is the idea you get from one research to do another research, and the third research to fourth idea. So that one research gives you another idea, and so on, so on. So one after another we keep working on, so
Okay.
that you don't get tired of, uh, and many more ideas from one research. It explores, it conveys a lot of queries. Okay, if I would have done this, that would have been happened. So that what is the research problem.
Yeah, TV.
Yeah. Vibha, you asked me a question. Correct? Are you
Yes,
able
yes,
to?
sir.
Okay. I'll show you. This is my wife, Jaya.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
Namaskar,
Namaste.
Namaskar. How are you?
I'm
Namaste.
fine, ma'am. Good
Yes.
to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. She is one answers to your question.
Okay.
Great,
Great.
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 What is this?
They are asking me how do you work so consistently so well, because
Oh,
she lets me do whatever I want to do. So I do.
why should I interfere? No, I don't want to interfere. When he is doing such good work, let him do, and others will enjoy.
आप अपना चेहरा बताइए.
हाँ जी.
हाँ, पूरा चेहरा. हाँ.
Yeah, yeah, now you
हाँ,
are
हाँ.
visible. Excellent.
हाँ.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
First
Thank
time
you.
I am having the opportunity to see you.
Oh my God.
दलपत भी आए. दलपत आपका चेहरा भी दिखाओ यार आप.
हाँ.
Yeah.
जय जी. हाँ.
Hello,
So
how are
that-
you?
Anyway, this time Raju is not able to join. Maybe he will join in your
Ah.
next session. Okay, so consistency comes out of you have to enjoy whatever work you do. Vibha. We enjoy whatever we do. So I think the same question you asked Mahavir, why so many years he's doing on street children, and I think wherever he goes, I think that is because you're committed to a particular cause, in the sense that, and if you enjoy and you constantly, uh, I think for us there is nothing like work and life. They are the same. At least I think this is the way to see. And why I wanted Jaya to come here is, most of the time I wonder if I am able to do whatever I am able to do. This is because the support is so good that I didn't need to worry at all. I think that is it's the support of mother, it's support of wife, it's support of children, all of them. So none of them ever question anything. They all only appreciate, okay, you're like what she said, no, if you're doing good work, why should I interfere with you? And if other people are getting benefit. So Vibha, that is the answer to your question. I think if you have to do it, I think your support system should be there. It should not be distracting you so that you're pulled in another direction, this and that. So that I was lucky, I think. I don't know, Mahavir, you will also say that? Dalpat, you will also say that, I'm sure.
दलपत ने तो बोल दिया है. यही है. First, and you live in your first, be a family person.
Yeah.
And see the expectation of family, and time is not the issue is how quality time you are spending with your family, how you are uh, dealing with their expectation, meeting their expectations, and building the expectations of family also, and with whom we are working. One more thing which I learned from you, and we are together in the journey also, how different field are we working? You are in a university, I am also in a university. We are in a practical field of, say, in industry. When we are in a social sector, we are with the individual, we are guiding the PhD students and what not. In a spiritually, you have mentioned just now. So variety of field also encourages, make you happy, and learn you much more than anything else in a short time. And how to put it in this idea, which you have been putting more systematically than me. I'm yet to start journey like you, and I have to begin my journey. And this is the way I will start to systematize my journey also. Yes, MKB, shall
So
we?
we close here the question and answer session. Now we have two areas to address. One is
Before you start,
yeah.
I am looking for a feeling of Dalpat and TV. How you experience how you experience just now, and our friends who are with us.
The questions अच्छा है, very relevant questions, very interesting. So I feel very happy that you such a team. I think you see behind the question is a genuineness. I sense so much of genuineness. You chaps are all interested in learning and wanting to do something. So it's quite motivating. Quite unlike many webinars where I think people are there. Okay, more to. I think this is good. I think you should continue this. And all the best for everyone here. Feeling happy.
Okay, Dalpat.
It is a good beginning, and I hope that you will continue to do this for a long time.
Mhm. Okay. Now, yeah, NKB.
Yeah, now little summing up of today's session. I would request Sarabjita Banerjee to kindly take over. Sarabjita, are you
She is having some network issue, MKB.
Okay. Would you like to, Tuzarika?
या सर दिनेश यादव बोल रहा हूँ सर, बक्सर बिहार से सर। सर
बोल
दिनेश यादव
बोलिए
बोल रहा हूँ
बोलिए।
सर। सर नमस्ते, नमस्ते सर। आपको, पूरे टीम को, राज साहब को, सभी को मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। मैं इस वेबिनार में जुड़ा हूँ और मैं सोशल सेक्टर में काम कर रहा हूँ। मेरे ऊपर छत्र छाया है डॉक्टर महावीर सर का, जो मेरे लिए रोल मॉडल है, और मैं इनको मान के ही अभी सोशल एक सेक्टर में अपने जो लक्ष्य हैं उनको प्राप्त करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। सर का इसमें मेरे को निखारने में, बताने में, गाइड करने में बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है, और ये मैं कहीं भी किसी भी फोरम में आज मैं शामिल हूँ तो इन्हीं के बदौलत हूँ। और सर का चाहूँगा, पूरे टीम का चाहूँगा, सर की जो टीम है, अपर लेवल मैनेजमेंट और जो फ्रेंड्स और जो भी हैं, मेरे को सर के अनुयायी ही समझें और हमेशा हमें इस तरह के अवसर प्रदान करें। और मैं पुनः सभी से फिर हर कार्यक्रम में मैं शामिल होता रहूँगा, और मैं भी आप लोगों के साथ हूँ, सेवा में हूँ। कोई आवश्यकता पड़े मेरी, बिहार, यूपी, झारखंड, बिहार, बंगाल, छत्तीसगढ़, any state of India, I am able to work in development sector in any types of project under the guidance and taken suggestion by our honorable sir Dr. Mahavir Jain sir. Thank you sir for giving
तुषारिका
me this opportunity. Pranam.
तुषारिका
Yeah, TV Rao sir has left.
Anyway,
Yeah. It's a great session, and I'm really honored. And I was about to say to TV Rao sir that we are looking for more sessions with him, and which I'm going to text him right now, right away. So much of clarity, Dalpat sir. Thank you so much for being with us. और बहुत ही ज़्यादा insightful रहा, and I'm really looking forward. What a great webinar we had today.
MKB.
yeah, now final comments from you, and thanks.
Yeah, तुम ही कर दो ना यार, क्यों मेरे को
नहीं
करना?
नहीं, अरे महावीर के सामने।
अच्छा दोस्तों, ये मेरा लाइफ टाइम वेबिनार है, जिसमें मेरे गुरु और सब गुरुओं का नाम आया है। मेरे कलीग जो दलपत, जो बहुत ही, और मैं आज हूं तो उसमें दलपत का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है। बहुत हम काम किए हैं, और मुझे जिस तरह से आप सबका सपोर्ट मिला, आप सब ने जो एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट किया, और ये पॉसिबल हो पाया। और मैं अपनी टीम को, जो MJ SHD है, उनको मैं बधाई देता हूं कि इतना ब्यूटीफुली और इतना अच्छा आपने किया। और मैं आप सबको धन्यवाद भी देता हूं, और मैं इस को बहुत मूल्य है कि आपने टीवी राव साहब को भी लाने की प्रक्रिया में आपने बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया, खास तौर से एमके दी। मैं जानता हूं कि आपका पूरा 2 सप्ताह एटलीस्ट इसमें डिजाइन में लगा है, और रिजल्ट्स आप देख रहे हैं। ये भी अपने आप में एक रिसर्च ही है, ये भी अपने आप में एक रिसर्च है। इसको आगे कैसे बढ़ाया जा सकता है वो आप देखिए। सब साथियों का मिला सवाल मुझे बहुत इंकरेजिंग हुआ, जिन जिन साथियों ने सवाल किया। और सबसे बढ़िया है कि मिसेस टीवी राव जया, सी द क्रिएटिविटी ऑफ ए पर्सन, हाउ ही एक्सप्लेन्स डाउन टू अर्थ। ये हम सब के लिए, हम अपनी पत्नी को लाने, अपने बच्चे को लाने में डरते हैं। हाउ ब्यूटीफुली ही ब्रॉट हिज वाइफ हु हैव बीन। और देखे तो मेरे ख्याल से राव साहब का मेंटर मिसेस जया राव है, क्योंकि वो जिस तरह से केयर करती हैं, सपोर्ट करती हैं, फैसिलिटेट करती हैं, और वो फैसिलिटेट करते हैं तो हम भी राव साहब हमें फैसिलिटेट करता है। इट्स वंडरफुल एक्सपीरियंस। और फर्स्ट टाइम मैं किसी मीटिंग में उनको देख रहा हूँ। मेरा एसोसिएशन 56 इयर्स का है, तो उसमें ये एक बहुत बड़ा चमत्कार हुआ है, बिकॉज ऑफ यू ऑल। और ये शुरुआत है, एंड आई वैल्यू योर ऑल कंट्रीब्यूशन पर्सनली। मैं नाम ले पाया या नहीं ले पाया, एंड दिस इज द स्टार्टिंग। और मैं आप सब जो जुड़े हुए हैं उन सबको मैं कह रहा हूं, वी विल क्रिएट एन प्लेटफॉर्म वेयर यूर क्वेश्चंस क्वेरी, we will forward it to the expert in the country and in the world. This is created by us, and we will connect to the world with your questions, queries. So you get specific questions, you get the guidance, and you get the answers also. With this, I am overwhelmed. I'm feeling. Yes, Kripal, you want to say?
Yeah, I want to know whether this has this been recorded? इसका recording किया?
Yeah,
So
कर दिया.
maybe I'd like to have. But
हाँ,
thank you, Mahavir, and thank you, Professor Rao, and thank you, Professor
Talpat Saru.
Dalpat. I'm overwhelmed, and I had literally dropped the idea of doing a PhD for one reason or the other. For quite some time, I was motivated to do it, and I had been, moving from pillar to post, and I contacted Mahavir also. Then I dropped the idea, but today I am again getting motivated. And the Q line I got from TV Rao is not necessary to PhD is acquiring as a degree, but you can do the research wherever you're sitting, whatever you're doing. So I'm grateful to Mahavir and others for rekindling my thought and wishes to maybe do some
तैयार
research.
हैं, कृपाल करो, हम सब आपके साथ हैं।
Then thank you, thank you so much.
करो तो सही, आगे तो बढ़ो, एक कदम बढ़ो तो 10 कदम हम पढ़ेंगे।
Sure, sure.
Very good. We are in.
Most of my doubts have been, answered by way of questions from various delegates. ये
Great,
topic
great.
लूँ, वो topic लूँ, etc. etc. Enjoy it.
दूसरी बात है कि और भी किसी के क्वेश्चंस हो तो they can send us. It's not an end. You can send your questions. We will forward it to Professor TV Rao and other professors also, Professor Darpad also, and ourselves also. So please do connect with us. We are enjoying, and we are developing a researchers mass, and this is the beginning. Now we value your presence and keep forward. All the best to you for doing, plunging into the problems, answering yourself, creating alternatives. And PhD is not only for degree, but answer the questions which you have in personal, professional, social, and spiritual life. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
With a big thanks to every participants other than MJSSD members, all can log out. MJSSD member for minutes.
Thank you to you also, sir. Mrinal Kanta Barman, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
क्या बात है नहीं
Gajendra,
जो
connect
इंटरेस्टेड
all
है
others.
ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं हमें क्या those who are
Thank you.
interested can join
No,
also let them
thank you,
listen
sir.
what we talk
Pranam, sir. Pranam Mahavir Jain, sir. Thank you.
कौन बोल रहे हैं
Varinder Verma.
हाँ बोलो ना यार तुम तो फैमिली मेंबर हो तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो
प्रणाम 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 नहीं मैंने कहा जाना सर
अरे आप अपना वो शकल तो दिखाओ
अभी दिखाता हूँ जी जी सर
कैसा लगा आपको
बहुत बढ़िया सर ब्रिलियंट ब्रिलियंट बहुत ही अच्छा
नरेंद्र वर्मा साहब इज पार्ट ऑफ मारुति सुजुकी he is very senior he is senior vice president
नहीं सर मैं वाइस प्रेसिडेंट एचआर और अभी आजकल आई एम हेड ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट स्ट्रेटजी एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन डिजिटलाइजेशन का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का बात कर रहा हूँ सर न्यू प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन
बोलिए कैसा लगा आपको
बहुत बढ़िया सर इट वाज वंडरफुल एंड वेरी इंटरेक्टिव एंड वेरी इंसाइटफुल एंड देन मोर वाज दैट इट इज सो pragmatic and grounded, that touching the basics of while choosing any research topic and how to choose them, how to do a primary research part, review of literature, and then move step by step, and also understanding that it's not only the primary data which is important, but the secondary data needs to be reviewed because things are changing very fast. The whole historical data may not be relevant to from your doing your research perspective is concerned. It was brilliant, really brilliant, and I think this is more pragmatic. We should do it, and then the way the format has been designed, it will take us to a very long time, in a long way, and then bringing in more interactive way of doing immersive learnings and bringing in research practical.
Good. Virendra Saab, we are expecting you to join this med group.
Sure, not at all. आपका तो मैं तो हिस्सा हूँ ही सर. आप जहाँ भी कहेंगे वहीं हम हाजिर हैं सर. बड़ी
भदौरिया साहब, APS, Dr. Bhaduria, would you like to share your feedback?
जी सर प्रणाम सर.
अपना चेहरा भी बता दीजिए हम सबको और इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिए.
जी सर. सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. पहले प्रणाम आपको. आपका मैसेज देखा तो बहुत अच्छा लगा और फिर इतना अच्छा सेशन, बहुत सारे वेबिनार हम लोगों ने कराए किए, पर ये भी एक बहुत मेमोरेबल वेबिनार हो गया और लगता है हमारे जीवन के लिए कुछ नई शुरुआत का ये एक सिरा है जहाँ जिसको मैंने आज पकड़ा है और कहीं दूर तक आप लोगों के गाइडेंस में जाएंगे. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर.
अपने बारे में बताओ ना, आप कौन हैं? ये हमारे सब नए साथी नहीं जानते हैं आपको.
अच्छा. मैं प्रोफेसर APS भदौरिया हूँ. मैं PSIT कानपुर में हूँ और जिम्मेदारी अभी हमारे पास डीन ऑफ द कॉलेज है यहाँ पे PSIT कॉलेज ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन में. और सर से मुलाकात हुई थी हमारी एक इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में जो हम लोगों ने अपने कैंपस में कराया था और सर को बुलाया था. बस शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में प्रयासरत हैं और कोशिश रहती है कि बच्चों के मार्फत से और जो भी हम समाज में काम कर सकें उसके मार्फत से जो भी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकें सोसाइटी में फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी एट लार्ज, उसका प्रयास कर रहे हैं और जहां पे भी मौका मिलता है जुड़ते हैं और जो कर पाते हैं वो कर रहे हैं.
यस, वेरी गुड. बहुत अच्छा लगा आप ज्वाइन किए. प्रोफेसर शर्मा, हरी शर्मा. मिताली, मुकेश, या चलो शुरू करो. MKB.
Nee, on the this has been my first experience of organizing a webinar. So the outcome, the details are in front of all of you. Now,
how you feel?
all, what is the where we have faltered? What are the points of improvement, so that this the beginning has to be continuing for a longer time with specific duration from time to time. So how we can do much better than what we have done at this point today. So that is what I would like to hear from the participants.
बोलो बोलो, बहुत है, नेक्स्ट मीटिंग शुरू होने वाला है.
हाँ, नेक्स्ट मीटिंग भी शुरू होना है.
Let me inform, at 4 I told you about one of the international project. The person is coming to get guidance. Anyone who's interested can join me, not virtually, lively.
That
Okay,
is,
okay. Yes.
yes, it is physical.
Tusarika, you are bubbling to say something.
No, not bubbling. I'm just confirming my availability at your place at 4.
You
Good,
proved
good.
that you are bubbling. Yes, Viva.
आज का सेशन तो इन्फॉर्मेटिव था ही था, और मैंने अभी बताया भी था हाउ टू अर्न अ पीएचडी. आई गॉट टू नो, एंड इट्स अगेन वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कि हर आप अपने जीवन की घटना पे पीएचडी कर सकते हैं. बस वो नज़रिया चाहिए.
वो कहाँ से लाओगे? किस
वो
बाजार
तो
में
अपना
मिलता है?
अंदर ही डेवलप वो नज़रिया डेवलप हो जाता है. आप बाजार में हो, बिल्कुल वो नज़रिया दिला ही दोगे. ऐसे ही थोड़ी ना सब कहते हैं कि आप सपने बेचते हो.
गजेंद्र,
आज की वेबिनार के लिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं बहुत ज़्यादा नर्वस था. किस तरीके से टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स को हैंडल करूँगा, हाउ इट विल बी डन, और किस तरीके से इसको एक सक्सेसफुल इवेंट में कन्वर्ट करना है. आई वाज वेरी नर्वस अबाउट दैट. और जैसे जैसे वेबिनार जब स्टार्ट किया तब से मेरे नर्वसनेस खत्म हो गया, एंड इट वाज वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव एज विभा सेड. और बहुत अच्छा लगा जब सभी साथी के साथ में टीवी राव सर को सुना, आपको सुना, महावीर आपको, दलपत सर को सुना. इट वाज वेरी वेल ऑर्गेनाइज्ड और बहुत अच्छी तरह एकदम स्मूथ फ्लो में गया. दैट आई वुड से. सो आई एम वेरी थ्रिल्ड विद दिस.
I was very confident, Gajendra, and I have told you last evening only. बहुत अच्छा जाएगा. There was a peace in the entire session, I must say. I have observed and experienced this. एक बहुत शांति थी, और महावीर बहुत कंफर्टेबल थे. ऐसा नहीं लग रहा था कि टीवी राव, ओके महावीर जो कहते हैं वो आज वो मुझे डिपिक्ट हो रहा था. मैं उसको रिपीट नहीं करूंगी. टीवी राव और महावीर की जो केमिस्ट्री थी और दलपत सर की जो केमिस्ट्री थी वो बहुत विजिबल थी, और एक अनटोल्ड सिमेट्री थी आप तीनों के बीच, वो दिखी मुझे. कोई ओवरलैपिंग नहीं था. एमके बी, यू हैव डन वेरी वेरी एक्सट्रीमली वेल, और आप डटे हुए थे, और अब अपने तरीके से आपने बहुत अच्छे से स्टार्ट किया. क्वेश्चन आंसर सब आपने बहुत अच्छे से किया एमके बी. So it's all kudos to you. And yes, we have literally हमने अपनी जान लगाई थी इस वेबिनार के लिए. There are some aspects which we need to work upon जब हम अपने further webinars के लिए जाएंगे. I have listed down that and we'll discuss this on Monday. So wonderful, Gajendra. Technically सब ठीक था. So मस्त रहो, बहुत अच्छा था.
The support from everybody and the solid guidance from the mentor has been the driving force, especially for me, and I believe for all of us.
मेरे को पीछे लपेटता है यार. क्या गाइडेंस दिया?
वो गाइडेंस के बिना तो चलेगा नहीं।
तो हर एक में अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन भी मुझे दे रहा है, ये तो बहुत अन्याय है
नहीं
मेरे
नहीं,
साथ।
ये नहीं अजय, यू आर आस्किंग समथिंग किसी को?
मदन, मदन।
Sir, it was very good experience, informative session.
मदन जी, स्पेशली फॉर यू,
कम्युनिकेशन।
आप कॉन्स्टेंटली आपने जो मेहनत की है in each and every content, in each and every draft, that was tremendous, Madan ji.
Thank you,
And
madam.
every day you were working, every day you were working, and you take this webinar as a collective responsibility, just not only for KMKB को है तो वो करना है. So you have shown this.
Yes, collective efforts are always required to achieve any result.
And then your, what should I say, cool, composer and activity where only work speaks, not your mouth. That is a great quality.
अब ये MKB next is we are in the process of going for international webinar. We have shown this, we will continue to multiply it at the same time going on this, and already commitment has been received from TV. He will continuously support and he liked it. सबसे बढ़िया है, he enjoyed being with us, and he's like our methodology, he has shared his own personal experiences, bringing his own wife. That is most valuable asset for us. वो
Yes,
लाते नहीं है, जया को कभी मैंने ट्रेनिंग में नहीं देखा है और इसमें लाए हैं, ये आपका अपना बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है, which I cherish. How you saw my role?
you are asking whom? Me?
Everyone who were part of me.
I have
For
shared.
me, you are absolutely composed.
Yeah.
And as Tusharika and Viva said, it was seamless. We had a concern for filling up the gaps. Today there are no gaps. The only issue that we have faced, which to me is tremendous, is Sarabjita's briefing summary. When she was not available, the way you took over and told Tusharika to do it, that was class. Because there could have, maybe I am thinking with myself, ki, "Arey, one of my member is not available, what do I do now?" But you have done it so smoothly, nobody felt ki there are some issues here and there. Nothing. That was class.
I need to add one thing to you, MKB. The power of communication which you have, Mahavir, is tremendous, because when you deliver something, आप बहुत composed थे, you were very calm and composed, and I can very clearly say this with full conviction कि उसका impact ही अलग होता है. जब आप बहुत calmly और composed way में जब when you deliver things, उसका impact बहुत.
तुम्हारा
So
issue
yes, you must be getting my point. And as always, you have changed the design, and you said Vibha to start and then to me. और मेरा क्या था, मुझे लास्ट में आना था और या नहीं आना था, जो भी टाइम स्लॉट होता. एंड बिकॉज स्ट्रक्चर तो आपको पसंद है नहीं, तो जो स्ट्रक्चर होगा उसको आप ट्विस्ट कर देते हो.
This is Tusharika, this is one most important aspect, how Mahavir made us to handle the surprises. This was something fantastic.
This is MJ's facilitation, Tusharika.
We need to be very spontaneous. Let me complete. जो हम एक परेशानी थी हमारी, उसको ओवरकम ये ऐसे ही कराते हैं. हमारे प्रिपेयर्डनेस को चेक करते हैं और he always make us spontaneous, और so वो डिपेंडेबिलिटी को खत्म ही कर देते हैं. And Mahavir, you have succeeded in doing this. You have succeeded in doing this. Yes, Vibha.
Yes, agreed to तुषारिका. जो एमजे ने सबसे पहले इनिशिएट करने के लिए बोला ना, ही वॉज एक्सपीरियंसिंग मी कि सबसे लास्ट में बोलेगी है और हमेशा ही बोलती है. दिस इज द टाइम ही वॉज लाइक कि इस बार तो विभाग को मतलब पर्सनल फैसिलिटेशन, ग्रुप फैसिलिटेशन, these are the dimensions I have seen today. सरबजीता नहीं आ पा रही हैं तो तब क्या करना है. अ, वो कुछ लंबा क्वेश्चन बोल रही हैं तो उसको कैसे कंपोज करना है. विभा पीछे रहती है हमेशा तो आगे कब आएगी. तुषारी को कब क्या बोलना है. ये सब उनका पार्ट ऑफ
और
फैसिलिटेशन एंड
एमकेबी
आई
को खुद
एंजॉयड इट.
पढ़ना है, खुद पढ़
और
के
एम
मेहनत करना है, और
खुद पढ़नी है.
और दूसरों को मौका नहीं देना है. लाइव केसेस है तो मेक इट लाइव. हुआ या
यस,
नहीं हुआ?
एमके भी आपने बहुत सही कर दिया, बहुत अच्छा प्रेजेंट किया एमजे का पूरा प्रोफाइल जो कल आपको लग रहा था कि 3 पेज कैसे पढ़ेंगे. यू डिड इट.
Mahavir, I have realized something more. The trust which you have on us. हमें बहुत डांट पड़ती है आपसे. एक छोटे से ड्राफ्ट में गजेंद्र की ग्रिलिंग हो जाती है, और मेरी तो बहुत ही हो चुकी है, एमकेबी की भी हुई. सबको पड़ती है, विभा को भी पड़ती है, सबको. उस टाइम पे लगता है कि पता नहीं महावीर को कैसा लग रहा होगा, व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, हम कैसे गधे साउंड दिख रहे हैं क्या उनको. एंड आप एक रिस्क लेते हैं बिकॉज ये आपकी नेटवर्किंग है. प्रोफेसर टीवी राव, दलपत सर, सो दिस इज योर ट्रस्ट एंड यू कॉल देम, और हम इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे काम करते हैं. दिस इज समथिंग वेरी बिग फॉर अस. दिस इज समथिंग वेरी बिग फॉर अस. एंड ये बहुत बड़ा मोटिवेशन है, और हमेशा मुझे बहुत मोटिवेट करता है कि मैं हमेशा कुछ अच्छा करूं या कुछ यूनिक करूं बिकॉज ऑफ योर ट्रस्ट.
गजेंद्र, would you
मैं
like
दो
to keep?
दो दो वर्ड बोलूंगा महावीर आपके मॉडरेशन में. एक डायनामिज्म और दूसरा परफेक्शन. इसका पूरा कॉम्बो आपका फैसिलिटेशन रहा है इसका.
वो क्या है, डायनामिज्म क्या है और परफेक्शन क्या है? स्पेल इट आउट.
परफेक्शन किस तरीके से एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है, कहाँ क्या चेंजेस करना है. डायनामिज्म कहाँ आ जाता है, जहां पर कोई अवेलेबल नहीं है तो उसको किस तरीके से फ्लो में चेंज करना. हाउ टू इन्वॉल्व टीवी राव, जिस तरीके से आपने उनका इंट्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट किया इनफॉर्मली के साथ में, इनफॉर्मल इंट्रोडक्शन के साथ में, द वे यू इंट्रोड्यूस टीवी राव, उनके अचीवमेंट्स के बाद में दलपत सर को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. तो विदाउट एनी प्रिपरेशन आपका, आपने एक डायनामिकली सबको इन्वॉल्व करते हुए यू गेव चांस टू एवरीवन. जितने भी टीम मेंबर्स हैं, जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, उन सबको मौका दिया. कहाँ तो वो एक डायनामिक लेकर आया ग्रुप के अंदर, जहाँ सरजीता भी बहुत लंबा बोल रही थी तो उनको कंसाइज कर दिया. टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट का बहुत ख्याल रखा आपने कि नहीं ये टाइम है, इस टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट के, इस टाइम के अंदर अंदर सब कुछ पूरा वेबिनार कंप्लीट होना है. those were the dynamics. और जो परफेक्शन है, परफेक्शन तो ऑलरेडी आपका सेकंड नेम है परफेक्शन, और उसमें कोई आपको टच नहीं कर सकता. एंड आई रियली लुक फॉरवर्ड टू माई सेल्फ टू बी टाइप ऑफ दैट. और मैं आपके जैसा बनूं, दैट इज माई heartiest wish right now.
Manoj.
Edition, how a webinar has become a process work. First time I have realized, I have never thought. Now, when I look back, a webinar has become a process journey. And process journey with these stalwarts. This is something, lifetime learning. That much I can tell.
ये बताओ, देखो, बिना कहे हुए प्रोफेसर टीवी राव को प्रोसेस में ले आए. पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस ने बोल दिया, उस सेल्फ
इसीलिए तो बता
डिस्क्लोजर
रहा
हुआ, और दलपत भी उसी में आ गया. ये इसका कल्चर का इम्पैक्ट है.
है.
ये लर्न करिए. दूसरा लर्न है कि ही टोल्ड मी यस्टरडे, महावीर क्या बोलना है इतना है। मैंने कहा आप क्या चाहते हैं ये बताइए, कि यार क्वेश्चन पूछो मैं आंसर दूं। मैंने कहा बढ़िया है, क्वेश्चन तो हम करते हैं, हम अपने आप में क्वेश्चन है तो क्वेश्चन करने में क्या है नुकसान। बोल दिया, कर दिया।
बहुत बढ़िया।
चलिए, और कोई? बहुत एम के बी ग्रेट। आई वांट टू नो द स्कोर्स। गजन, what was the final score?
I counted
70.
64.
70, 70, 70.
70 हुआ था ना?
70.
70.
तो आप
70.
समझ लीजिए 50%।
53%.
53%.
तो ये अपने को प्रिपरेशन और करना होगा,
Yes.
और ज्यादा करना।
Yes.
होता है।
स्टार्ट हिस्सा
मेरा एक्सपेक्टेशन था 60% होगा, बट
कितना?
60% मेरा एक्सपेक्टेशन था।
हाँ, तो वही हो गया।
नहीं, उससे
100%
कम
करते
हुआ
तो
ना,
100
53 हुआ है।
मिलता।
53
What you expect you get it।
नहीं।
ये अच्छा, अभी तुम्हारा ही पता है, तुमने ही करवाया है ये सब। अब समझ में आया मुझे। 60% है तो मैं हो गया 60%।
60% नहीं हुआ ना, 53% हुआ ओनली।
और इसमें से 10-20 तो आज ही आए हैं।
हाँ,
वो वही है,
बहुत
आज
आगे आ
ही
गए।
आज ही किया है, आज ही आए हैं।
फ्री
बहुत सारे।
अटेंडेंस शीट मैंने ग्रुप में फॉरवर्ड कर दी है, प्रेजेंट
अच्छा,
जितने थे।
चलो अब चले।
हाँ, बाय।
Fine.
हाँ?
Bye
Once
bye,
again,
everyone.
I am extremely grateful for all the support provided by everybody. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. All the best.